some more guests to join in with us today on our live. We are indoors today, so that's good.
I wasn't going to be anywhere else but indoors.
Yeah, even though we thought it was going to be possibly snowing, and it is nowhere near cold enough to snow today. So
it's cold. Anna, let me know. If the
what's funny? I've noticed
volume.
that over the 40 or so History Loves Company videos we've done, almost every one we start by talking about the weather.
Because it's an important thing.
We could be your daily weather report. I mean, we could add that, like History Loves Company and weather.
Hi, Alan. Well, it's also what you do in polite company is you discuss the weather.
This is true.
So, okay,
Thank you for
Thank
considering me polite company.
Today. Hi, Joey.
I'm going to be on my best behavior today.
I feel really short next to you today.
I know I have boots on. I have my Carmen Sandiego hat that got for Christmas. I haven't worn it yet. Been waiting for the...
You wore it one day.
Well, yeah.
Not on a video, though.
Not on a video. The problem is when you're outside, your hat flies off.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
you know.
All right. We got some people on. Do you want to grab... So, okay, if you can't tell where we are...
Ooh, look at this.
This is the Marietta Fire Museum. We are actually upstairs. There's 2 floors to it. If you've never been... I've never come through the main entrance.
Door. The main entrance.
The main entrance, which is technically the second floor. I've always come through the first floor.
Right.
So we're up here, and
I bet many people didn't even know that our city had a fire museum.
That's
true. We have a fire museum here in Marietta, just 1 block off the Marietta Square. That's 1 block, wouldn't you say? 2? 1?
2.
Yeah.
Right next to City Hall.
Yes, and it's free. It's a free museum. Right?
It is a free. Yes.
Yes.
It's a free. Hi, Judy. Nice. Ooh, Evansville.
Evansville.
Very nice.
All right. Where? I don't know where that is.
Indiana.
Oh, wow. Sweet. Thanks for joining us.
So, the Fire Museum is actually run by the firefighters here. Mm-hmm. So, they usually assign one specific firefighter to this kind of be their headmaster of, I don't know, the collections, right? Well, and kind of like the historian for the company, or the whole department, I should say.
They handle the tours, school tours, and any other inquiries, I would imagine.
And outreach, yeah. So it's somebody new this time. It's Lieutenant Lawson. I think that's correct. I haven't met him yet.
All right.
But we've worked with other men of the department, men and women of the department, I should say.
Yes.
So we were... what spurred today, because if you guys obviously saw last week, we were at Cole Street Baptist.
Yes.
And Cole Street Baptist is on a walking tour called the Black Heritage Walking Tour.
Let me grab it.
So I'm going to let Amy talk a little bit about... Oh, there you go.
Yeah. Might be backwards, though. Might be backwards on the screen.
But that's and that's okay, because it's not available in the hard copy anymore.
Right. So,
and Anna put the link to the where you could actually see it.
Oh,
online.
good. Oh, good. So, last week we took a look at the map because, of course, this is February, and we wanted to honor Black History Month. Even though at the museum we are dedicated to honoring Black history year-round in our exhibits, our programming, our collections, it is a very high priority for us. It really is. But especially in February, we want to take the time when everyone else is really focused and zeroed in on that particular part of history that, to highlight some of the places. And a lot of the places in town are, or I should say some of the places are more well-known than others.
Yeah, for sure.
So we kind of wanted to take this opportunity to come to some of the spots around town that some people have never heard of or didn't know about, or maybe they've driven past it but haven't seen the history of it. So Cole Street Missionary Baptist was last week, and then, like you said, today we're here at the Marietta Fire Museum, and we're going to be talking about one of the stops, or one of the stories that is on the walking tour. Now, this brochure was put out, gosh, I don't know how long ago.
More than 5 years ago, I think, at this point.
Yeah, I don't see a date. I would say 10 years ago at least.
I don't know if it was that long ago,
okay.
But somewhere between 5 and 10. We'll go with that.
Yeah, and it's Marietta's Black Heritage Walking Tour. Now these, as Krista said, is there a fire? I hear an alarm.
We're here. Set the alarms off, everybody.
Woo!
Yes, I know, right?
No, I'm so...
They're not available in a hard copy. So if you want to do the walking tour,
yes,
we put a link to it,
yes,
so you can do it. It is available on the city's website.
Yes. What I was going to say, now I remember, is that I'm working with the Welcome Center, and they are in the process of refreshing this brochure, and we will be printing, or they will be printing, another set, along with the historic walking tour brochure that they have of all the historic buildings, that they offer on their walking tour. So this one specifically highlights Black history, but then there's another one that highlights a variety type of history. So they're redoing both of those brochures, so that's exciting. We're going to have new things to look on. So if you've done these walking tours before, they may be a little different. They may be edited, and I know that because I'm doing the editing.
I was like, that could be Amy's task. Because I was like, I'm not going to do that one.
So, but this one does have the fire station. When you go to this number 6 in here, it says the Blue Eagle Fire Company. Okay, and the spot on the map, if you can see that you would see, I know this is backwards, again, you can see it online, but the spot on the map is number 6, and it would take you here to the Fire Museum here. So to learn about the Blue Eagle Fire Company, so that's what we're going to do today. We're going to kind of take you around. You'll get a somewhat of a feel for the size and scope of this museum. There are, as with many museums, many wonderful stories here that you can learn about. Today we're only going to focus on the Blue Eagle Company, and then later on the integration of other African American firemen in the
70s. I mean, we'll probably come back to the Fire Museum and do another one that's more broad ranging.
Sure.
Because Monday is when Amy said, let's do Blue Eagle. And I was like, okay.
Yes. And then I say that, and then I had my hands full with a couple other projects, so
like walking tours.
So Christa had to do all the research this week. So props to Christa, and she's going to give us some of the deep dive research that you found, which is not a whole lot when you look at the week. And that's one of the problems we have with these programs as researchers. We know there's more out there, but with only a week to prepare each week, because every week we change topics, it's kind of just like a starting point. So, we'll continue.
It's always a starting, but it's also, and anybody who's ever done any Black history, African American history research, it is a struggle no matter what, because of the way information was saved.
It wasn't saved. It wasn't reported.
It wasn't reported
as
widely, for sure. Or it just wasn't deemed newsworthy unless it was, and I've said this before, unless it was something salacious.
Yes.
That's
like an African American Negro committing a crime, especially within the white community. That's going to make the paper for sure. But if it's a leader in the Black community who has done wonderful things within that community, they're not going to make the Marietta Daily Journal for a century. So it's hard. It usually
would be salacious, church related, which that tends to be, or death. And the
not
death,
even often death. Sometimes.
Well, the thing with the death would have to have been again, if they had been somebody that was bigger known or well known in the Black community. That tended to be it.
Right.
So what I'm actually going to do right now is flip the camera around. Keeps freezing up. Computers just can't handle this.
Sorry, Anna. Thank you for letting us know.
Yeah. If anybody else has trouble, let us know, because we're not getting a buffering on our end. So.
And we're in a city building, so I don't know how that affects the Wi-Fi, or
I shouldn't be on the Wi-Fi, but the last time we had this issue, it kept buffering.
Okay.
So let anybody else, if we're freezing up, let us know.
And these are recorded and saved. So if you, for some reason, you can't watch it today, it will be saved on YouTube next week.
Yeah, usually I get them up on Monday.
Yeah.
So what I'm going to do is flip the camera around so you could see what my starting point for research was, because it was here from the fire department. All right, so this is this awesome timeline that the fire department has created, and it actually starts in 1854, and it goes around kind of giving you the beginnings of the fire department, fire company. You guys will see the Silsby, also known as the Aurora, in a little bit. We'll show that later. That's actually downstairs. But you can see right here, this is 1880s, and right here, oh, like this worked out perfectly. Right there it says Blue Eagle Company number 2. The reason why it says company number 2 is because company number 1 was the white volunteer fighter company. So that's why it says that. And then it says in 1881, Blue Eagle Fire Company had been formed. It was comprised of African American. Comprised. You know,
usually it's me stumbling over my words.
I was just about to say, the fact that she was correcting me is hilarious, because usually it's not. I'm just going to say, y'all, it's been a day, and there's been a hair in my mask all day. And it's been really, really annoying. So
it was comprised of
African American men. Okay? There we go. I did have that one happen there, guys. So African American men who were connected to, or I'm trying to read it through this. Why am I doing that? Committed to protecting the city from fire. The Blue Streak hand pumper was passed down to the Blue Eagle Fire Company when the Silsbee steamer arrived. I'm trying to read it through the iPad, y'all, and it's right here in front of my face. But you guys can see right here this list of men in as a part of the company. So that's what I started with. I started with these names. And tried to figure out, you know, what I could about each guy. Now, I do know majority of them were had been enslaved, because this is around the 1880s. 1881 is when they were actually formed as a volunteer group. So many of them had been enslaved, and then afterwards, after the end of the Civil War, they were heavily involved in Marietta's community. And this was another way to be involved in the community outside of church. So one gentleman on there is W.P. Butler. He was a Baptist minister.
It looks like he was the president of the company as well.
Yes. So when you see that, that's the other thing that's really important. I'll get you in the shot here too. It's not a fire company in what you think of today. Yes, there is a what's the word I'm looking for? Hierarchy. But it's almost a hierarchy, kind of like a nonprofit group. You might have a president, a vice president, a treasurer, a secretary, and you're thinking, well, why would a fire department have that? Again, this is a volunteer group. Mm-hmm. You actually had to pay dues. Mm-hmm. You paid fines if you didn't show up.
Wow. Almost like a club, right?
It is like a club.
It's a club. But...
and so they would...
And the white group was like that as well?
White group was like that as well. They would take meeting minutes, and in just a second I'll show you the original meeting logbook. I do have it here. And so that's what it was. It was a group. They would come and respond to fires, but if you didn't show up to a fire, you could be fined.
Wow. Yeah.
Which I find that really interesting, because like...
Well, I guess, but if they have a fire, everyone has a specific job. And if one person doesn't show, then maybe that affects the job of all the others.
It does.
And so you have to, there has to be a large, a big incentive or a big punishment for not, a big incentive, you know, to go because you don't want to be punished.
Right.
You know.
I do actually have with me the first logbook that the fire department has. I will hold it up. I'm going to be very careful because the covers are actually coming off, so I will rotate the camera around for you guys to see it. It is from the 1880s, about 1883. The handwriting is fantastic, so I'm going to let Amy...
Do you want me to take this off and hold it while and leave it on the flat?
We can leave it on the table, but I don't have to pick it up if you're...
Okay. And, Jen, thank you so much for staying with us, even though it's freezing.
Not me.
Well, I just said it there. I don't read it. Didn't read it. Okay. Here we go. Next.
There we go.
Okay. May have poor quality. I apologize for that if we do. I'm going to try to be as still as I can.
Fire trucks are getting in our way. It's blocking us.
Okay, what does that say? I will read it.
Hold on.
Oh.
Records of the fire department of the city of Marietta. Is that what I'm saying?
Yes.
Okay, I'll continue. Organized Friday, September 13th, 1883. W.L. Sessions, Secretary and Treasurer. And then these go from September 13th, 1883 to September 13th, 1884. So we actually have a lovely transcript, which is
fantastic. All right.
All right, so I think we can put that back up.
Did you want? Were you going to flip to a page that? Was there any information in there on the Blue Eagle, or is that not the one we were thinking of?
No, it's not the one.
Okay. Oh, but look at the inside. Oh yeah.
So it actually goes farther than that. It goes into the 1890s. So while the front says one thing, it does go farther back on the inside.
Detailed notes. But then again, to be clear, this is all about the, most of the notes in here are about the White Fire Company, not the Blue Eagle Company.
Not Blue Eagle.
But yeah, but this, some of them though, because we found notes, where do we find, what's that one that's transcribed?
That is it. The transcription is that book.
But when I looked in there, they did mention.
Oh, no, they do mention them in this, but it's not the page. Okay, she's jumping ahead, everybody.
Oh, geez, sorry.
So in 1998, they find another logbook, and the MDJ says it's 1924 that they found 2 more pages with listing of members of Blue Eagle from like 1896, 1897. Mm-hmm. So that's what we did not find that book myself and the fighters today.
But this book right here does mention the Blue Eagle Company in its notes. So it will mention things that it's doing or dues that need to be paid or that kind of thing. Who their current
membership is.
Yeah, okay.
And then later on in the 1890s, you do see at least one representative from Blue Eagle going to the meetings of the White volunteer organization. So there is communication, which is great. And actually, that leads me to again, I could tell stories about all of these, but one person in particular I wanted to mention is Sam Cleveland. Okay. If you guys follow my Marker Mondays in the cemetery.
Marker Mondays on Facebook
and Instagram. I do them on both. Just because who doesn't want to talk about a person in the cemetery? They're great. So, Sam Cleveland. This man deserves way more credit and time than I'm giving him right at this moment.
And he was a member of the
Blue Eagle
Company. Was he in 1884, 83?
No, he comes in a little bit later, around in the 1890s.
Okay.
But it is a little hot, and the sun is like, it's the mask. That's the problem.
It is.
And also, you don't understand how much running around we were doing today. Whew, it was tough. All right, so Sam Cleveland actually worked at a building that we know and love called the Kennesaw House.
Home sweet home.
Home sweet home. He was the porter to the Kennesaw House building for hotel for over 30 years.
Wow.
Gosh. He also served as a member of Blue Eagle, so he was a volunteer fireman. When he died in 1916, he was buried in the city cemetery. And what ended up happening is the traveling men raised money to have his tombstone put in. Wow. So if you go to his tombstone, which, again, I have a picture of it on our Facebook page, it says that he was a loyal employee, a porter of the Kennesaw House, and that his stone was built by the traveling men.
Which not many people put their profession on their tombstones. So that's interesting, but that they would want to remember him by that. I also have a theory that he probably had a lot of secrets, and they appreciated that that he kept those secrets. I mean, if you work at a hotel for 30 years, I'm just saying.
Well, yeah, especially as the porter, you know, you would have a lot.
You know who's coming and going and when they're coming and going.
For sure. There were other men who served on Blue Eagle, including Oscar Lewis. Oscar Lewis, unfortunately, in one of the stories I found about him, his daughter had actually died from burns from a fire. And so that probably was one of the reasons why he wanted to be on the fire group. You know, usually tragedy spurs us to do things, and that was one for him.
Yeah.
And then you have just this group that we've been able to find from about 1881 to 1911. I don't see anything else about them
in the Marietta Daily Journal.
Or in any newspaper.
In any newspaper. Okay.
I haven't been able to find them.
Yeah.
But we think, are we? Yeah, we are in the right spot. So let me turn this around for a second.
Okay.
Where are you going to point? So I can.
What am I pointing to? Oh, well,
where am I going?
Marietta points for his full-time paid chief. So we see the Blue Eagle Company from until, they kind of disappear after 1911. It is in 1909 that Marietta hires its first fire chief. So the first time they're hiring anybody as an employee as opposed to being a volunteer.
Right.
And so our theory, which again, it's just a theory because without evidence we don't know for sure, but our theory is that once they started hiring employees within the city, that they weren't going to hire African Americans for these jobs when they could give those jobs to the whites. And so once they started doing that and having fewer volunteers, they disbanded the Blue Eagle Company. That's just our theory. Again, we don't know if that's a fact, but we don't know when they disbanded or why they disbanded. So there's that. Did you want to show them? Let me see if I can find a picture over here of the pumper they had.
So they've got, I don't think
it's this one.
It is, yeah, that's one I focused on, is that one.
So one of the reasons it was called the Blue Eagle Company, why is that?
Is because the product was actually Blue Eagle. Like it's either the nozzle or the pumper was Blue Eagle.
Pumper, yes. So when they formed this, the first Blue Eagle Company, it was timing-wise, it was when the fire department, the main fire department, got their Aurora, which we do have here on display, and we'll show you in just a minute. It was the big fancy pumper and a steam engine, so I'm assuming that means it can shoot the water higher and farther than a hand
Probably.
pump. So they gave what was called the Blue Eagle hand pumper to the African American group, to the Negro Company. And so this, though, is a picture of, this is from...
Well, no, that's their chemical hose wagon. That's not the hand pumper.
Well, over here, hold on a second. Over here, it says that it's a hand pumper.
I can't take her anywhere.
Hold on.
Let's see if she gets it right.
Okay, look over here.
Okay, okay. She says.
Two pictures. Number one, engine company. This unique fire apparatus served the city of Marietta from the mid-1800s to the early 1900s.
Sure.
It featured a chemical fire extinguisher, horse, and ladders. The photo on the right shows a proud firefighter atop the apparatus in front of the old post office. The photo on the left shows the apparatus as it pulls out of the old fire station on Atlanta Road.
It's not the same thing.
It's not the same thing?
It's not the same thing.
Okay, never mind. Nothing to see here.
But actually, this worked out well.
Move on.
No, this worked out well.
Okay.
Because, if you don't mind holding this.
No, not at all.
I took a photo with my phone, everybody, so I need to pull up my phone.
Of what? Did you find a photo of the...
No. Remember how I was telling you yesterday about the directory? So there's an 1883 directory in our collection, and that
City directory.
Yes.
Like a phone book.
A what?
Like a phone book.
Like a phone book.
I know it's something we don't have anymore. Those alone, that's a whole nother discussion.
So it talks about the fire company, and the Blue Eagle have a new, Marietta number 1, which is the white volunteer group, has a neat brick structure, well appointed, and surrounded by an alarm bell. I don't know how you surround, anyway. Blue Eagle have a new wooden structure adjoining. City council elects the chief. Doesn't mean they just kind of approve.
Okay.
And then control both companies. Marietta number 1 dates their history back to 1850, although this is 1854. I'm going to go with this one. And is composed of the leading citizens, generally young men, because this is a young man's game. And then Blue Eagle was organized in June of 1881. So I don't have anything.
Okay.
So,
well, so we don't have an image of the Blue Eagle pumper that they got, but as when we got the Aurora.
But the thing that really interested Amy and I is it said that they were first on the north side of the square, and we're like,
oh yeah, like where we
found it.
Oh no way!
I did. Hold on.
Surprise to me! Yay! This is exciting.
All right, the picture is probably going to be really small, and I
okay.
Oh wait, did I take it out of my? Oh, there it is. Okay.
We love our Sanborn maps.
All right, guys, this is going to be really small. But
isn't it lovely that we're on a Sanborn map, fire insurance, and we're here at the fire department?
We should.
There we go.
You see the little box in blue?
Okay, wait a minute. Yes.
That's where it was.
And so that's what we guessed.
Uh-huh.
We are so smart.
So it is where the fence area is along North Park. So if you go down Root Street, it's fenced in. There's no building there.
That's right. Oh my.
But the building that was there was not this building either.
No, it wasn't, but it was behind them in that area.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's what we guessed. Our educated guess was that if it's on the north side of the square, it had to be on the back side of the north side of the square.
Actually, that was not my guess. That was hers. I'm going to give her all props for that one. When I pulled this up, that's why I kind of was like, I'll surprise her because she got it right. Check, winner.
Ding.
That's 1885.
If only I could do trivia night at Red Top Brewery with Marietta history. It'd be amazing.
So 1890, it's not in that building anymore. That building is listed as vacant.
Okay.
So they end up being on Atlanta Street. And again, it's going to be really small, and it's right here at the bottom. Right there at the bottom.
I see that. Atlanta Street, so that is where the pottery place is now?
No.
Oh, wait, that's McCracken's. That's right.
McCracken's.
That's right.
So
one of my favorite bars in Marietta.
That's where they moved
Love
to.
McCracken's. And they do have a fireman's theme because they know they're in the old firehouse.
Yes.
So, yes. And actually, that building is this. Is that one? Hold on. On Atlanta Street?
1890,
Yeah.
maybe.
So, that's the building that Johnny McCracken's is in now. On Atlanta Street. So, yeah, there's that.
So you do see.
Hi, Reverend Purvis.
You do see Blue Eagle taking part in a lot of the same things, obviously fires, but outside of the fires. That company number one was taking part in firemen's parades. Okay, if y'all ever see on 4th of July our firemen all in gear in the parade.
Yes.
They do that at like 10 o'clock in the morning. Back in the day, 4 p.m.
Woo!
Could you imagine full fire gear? These
4 p.m. in July.
And they were rubber coats.
Yes.
Like legit hot.
Whew.
So they would participate in this. They would participate in, again, statewide fire department event.
Yeah.
Blue Eagle did as well. When they would do picnics and stuff for the fire department, Blue Eagle was included.
Nice.
So it was nice to read that.
I did see that you had pulled some articles from the paper where specific, I think Winters and Leg was one company in particular that they specifically had barbecues just for the Blue Eagle company.
A place called Sim's Restaurant, which I have not looked into.
Never heard about. We're going to look into that. But they specifically held barbecues to thank the Blue Eagle company. So that was nice.
I believe one was like an oyster.
Yeah. Hey, which now we're going to get an oyster bar.
I know. I did know that.
Where Jack's Deli was.
Yes.
Side note. Okay. One other thing I wanted to show you before we move away. In this case here, the fire department has reproduction insurance fire markers. And let's see, this is an original one, so you can see the age on it. And early 1900s era. And then these are reproductions. And
this middle one, would be that group.
Yeah, it's Eagle Hose number 2. So here is the reproduction of the fire marker, which I guess they put on the building outside the firehouse, so you knew that it was a firehouse. And for our Blue Eagle group. One thing also that I asked a friend of ours, I don't think he's watching because he's teaching, but I think it's neat that South Cobb High School are the Blue Eagles. The Eagles, and they're blue, anyways. Yes. It's no connection, but I still think it would be neat if they made that connection.
It would be.
I just think, you know.
So what we're going to do is we're going to show these fire mobiles.
Yeah, let's walk around while we're here.
And show you the Aurora, too.
Okay,
so you
yes.
guys can see it.
Okay. Oh, and the bell, too.
Oh, yes.
So this one, do you see a year? And I'm not a car person. So what is this one? It's a rescue. Looks like an ambulance.
Well, then you need to
it's 1950.
Yeah, well, you need to tell them that
maybe.
They need some labels on these.
Boy, if only the city had museum professionals on staff that knew how to do labels. Here we have a Falcon, Ford Falcon, 60s era. I'm sure all of y'all watching will know exactly what kind of cars these are, and please jump in if you do. Yeah. They do pull these out sometimes for parades. As I walk past here, this bell is fantastic. Okay, so this is the original Marietta Fire Department bell that they started ringing in the 1850s. And so this would have been the bell that was rung for a fire that the Blue Eagle company would be responding to. And so, yeah, the story with the bell is, of course, during the Civil War, a lot of the church bells were sent to the Confederate cause to be melted down. and used by the Army. They did that again in World War II, of course. But so the fire department had this bell, and then they loaned it to, does it say St. James?
Yeah.
St. James. So St. James used it in its church from 1860s until 1880s, and then the city got it back again to be used by its fire department.
I didn't print it out, but there's a story about how when they were moving from Atlanta Street to another location, that the bell was owned by one group, the rope was owned by another, and it's like this whole story of who actually owns the bell and the bell tower. It was pretty funny, but I didn't print that one out for today.
So there's a big old truck in the back over here, and this one is in parades too. I know I've seen it.
Isn't that Santa's truck too?
Oh, is it Santa's?
arrive in this truck?
Maybe. Santa comes. I don't know how old this is. Then, what are these? 29. This is pictures of this one. This is the 1929 Seagraves Pumper. Thank you for the sign here. Fire Prevention Week. Uh-oh.
I didn't do it.
It's a fire. No, it's not. Okay.
Well, you don't have to respond to that.
Dang it. Dang it. I want something exciting to happen.
Not
Okay.
here. I don't know
I know.
fires in this
Down here, there are 2 floors to this museum when you come in. And down here, you will see the beloved Aurora, which is, do you remember the year? 18...
Did it say South Park?
Okay, maybe that's probably private information.
Well, hopefully that person is okay.
Yes.
Because
Let's
we
hope.
have a wonderful EMS
Yes.
rescue team here, so hopefully
And thankfully
everybody's
they're
okay.
close by.
They are close by.
So
the Silsby, that was the reason why. Well, call it Aurora. Let me tell that story though real quick.
Okay.
It's actually a Silsby truck, but it's called Aurora because, in essence, they had a popularity contest with 2 sugar barrels. Each sugar barrel was.
In case you can't tell, this museum is part of the working fire department.
There's a fire pole.
There's a
Okay,
pole.
I've been in here, we've been in here, I've been here an hour earlier today and now, and that's the first time I've heard anything.
There it goes.
Yeah.
I hear the fire truck. I don't care how old you are. You get excited by a fire truck. Oh, let's watch it. Let's watch our... Oh, they left. Oh, man, they're too fast. Okay.
All right,
So, I think they can hear you.
yeah, so the Aurora was a popularity contest. 2 young ladies had their names attached to a sugar barrel, and you would drop money in it, and whichever young lady had the most money got to name it, and she named, I forget which one, she named it Aurora. But I'm like, that's like telling y'all which one to vote for us in a popularity contest. How can you choose?
Oh, my gosh. Van, okay.
What was the story?
Girlfriend, we got to talk. Van, I wish my husband was able to watch this live. He was not the first, but the second black firefighter for the city of Marietta. So, thank you for reminding us,
Yes.
Van. Number 1, we are going to talk. Number 2, so the Blue Eagle Fire Company comes, they disband around 1910-ish.
10, 11-ish.
12-ish. And, well, definitely after 1911.
Yeah.
And then you don't see any evidence of black firefighters until 1975. And, isn't it 74 or 75?
75.
75. And what did it say specifically?
The first one said Clifford Gober, and then the other one was a man who was a police officer and then moved over to fire.
Right. He felt, you know what,
Let me go.
let's walk this way. We have the article up here, but he basically, the very first man to integrate what is now the fire department in 1975, he was a police officer.
Gober was first. This guy, the one you're talking about, is the second.
Okay, is it Van's husband?
I don't know Van's husband.
Let me see.
Do you?
Well, the story, the article says,
I'll find it.
okay, he was a police officer who felt that there was a lot of racism, and he did not feel safe at work, or not. He just, he wanted to be in a better work environment. Here we go. So he became instead a fireman. Clifford was first.
Clifford was first.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Clifford was first. John Summerlin. is the second one.
Okay.
He was police officer first and then moved over to fire.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, and so let me show this article here. Ex-black officer, now a fireman. So, yeah, basically they were saying, the fire department was saying they were happy to have them and they hope to hire more. And it was part of a CETA, where's that CETA program? What program was that?
I don't think
Was
it actually it doesn't say what it actually stands for.
It's some sort of a probably federal works program to integrate more government positions, be my guess. We'll have to look up that CETA. But, yeah, so you find that finally happening in 1975. And so, yeah, Van, gosh, we need to
have a talk.
Yeah, we need to have a talk, see if you have any artifacts that you'd like to donate. Stories, do an interview. I'm sure the fire department here would love to talk to you as well. So thank you for sharing that. So, I think that's it for today. Thank you all for hanging with us during our buffering and all of that.
So on YouTube, I'll have them together. So
yes.
it'll be one video.
It'll be one big
there
video.
might be a little skipping in the beginning, but it'll be one video. We don't know where we'll be next week. It will be Black History Continued. We're very weather-oriented right now.
Yes.
But we thank you so much. And again, two things. One, if you've not been to this fire museum, please come and visit. Two, Anna is going to put in a link, or one of us will put in a link. If you like what we're doing and you enjoy our videos and you want to support us, we're putting a link to a $5 donation that goes through our museum store. We would love to have any support. You watching is wonderful support all into itself.
Yes.
But, you know...
And sharing. Feel free to share.
All these things. All these wonderful things. But, wow. It's a busy Friday afternoon in Marietta, y'all.
Yes,
I'm just saying.
it's Friday.
So we will see you next week.
Yes.
We hope you have a wonderful weekend and Valentine's.
Yes.
We heart
Happy
all
Valentine's.
of you, for sure.
We do. You're all our Valentines. So
it's a little nerve-wracking when this cyber
it's
comes
like,
off.
oh my
It's like,
gosh.
oh my gosh.
I would not make a good first responder.
No,
I'd be way too
I-
busy trying to figure out what's happening with everybody
Thank
else's.
you, Reverend Purvis, for posting what that means. I
Oh,
appreciate
yes.
it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you,
Okay.
guys. We will see you next week, hopefully in a place that's a little... It was quiet, but,
Yeah.
you know, it got loud. So thank you, guys. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.